Hey everybody, this is Tracy with a view from Tracy's Point. And this is my third update for the night. And for those who are just tuning in to these updates, I did a video last week where I covered actually I did two videos last week. One was talking about five little black girls that have been killed by either the parent or by people associated with the parents, and in one case they didn't even know who they were. And then I also talked about a young lady named Aniah Blanchard who was missing. And then I did another video where I talked about a young lady by the name of Alexis Crawford and a little girl by the name of Taylor Williams. So when I say I'm doing these update videos, it's following up from those original videos that I did about a week ago. And so this video is the latest on Aniah Blanchard. And so Aniah Blanchard is a 19-year-old college student from Homewood, Alabama, who went out to meet a guy that she had met online, and then she never returned back home. And she is actually the daughter of a UFC fighter by the name of Walt Harris. I always forget which one. I know it's a W, but he's a UFC fighter. And so this case is getting a lot of attention. There's actually a reward out that has topped $100,000 because Dana White, who owns the UFC, has actually put up $80,000 for information leading to the arrest, conviction, and the location of where Aniah Blanchard is. And so I'll drop the links above for the videos that have more detailed information on what is going on with this case, but I did want to bring you guys this update. So police had already said that there was blood found in Aniah's vehicle, which they located, that ultimately led them to the arrest of a young man named Barham Yazid, and I did a video on that, and I'll drop that link above. But it says that blood evidence in the car belonging to UFC heavyweight Walt Harris, I knew I wrote it down somewhere, missing stepdaughter, shows that she suffered, quote, life-threatening injury, according to police records. And then it says that in Auburn, Alabama, police charging document released after the arrest of Barham Yazid on Friday says a state lab determined the evidence matched Aniah Blanchard, who was reported missing on October 24th. And so the 19-year-old was last seen at a convenience store in Auburn while suspect Barham Yazid was there. The charging document says that a witness identified the 29-year-old Yazid as the man he saw force Blanchard into a car. It's unclear if that was her car, which was later found abandoned. And so Yazid was arrested Friday in Florida and charged with first-degree kidnapping. He was also out already on a $60,000 bond for another situation. And if you go back and watch my last update where I talk about his arrest, I go into detail about his lengthy criminal history. So today a judge issued a gag order on both the district attorney Brandon Hughes as well as the attorney for Yazid, and so they are no longer allowed to talk about any details regarding the case. And so we still don't know where Aniah Blanchard is, if she's alive, if she's dead, what's going on. And so searches for Blanchard includes the mother of Natalie Holloway, and some of you probably don't remember Natalie, but Natalie she's a white girl who went on vacation, I think after her graduation from high school. Man, this was probably like 14, 15 years ago, but she went to Aruba and she disappeared. There was a guy that they arrested, and charged with her murder, but they were never able to find the body. And then I want to say that the guy was released, but then he was rearrested years later. Like that case was all over the news. And so her mother is working with this organization called Texas EquiSearch, and so they joined into this search for Aniah, and they posted that information on their Facebook page. And so Auburn Police Chief Paul Register says that it's not clear if Blanchard and Yazid knew each other, though authorities don't have any reason to believe they did. And he said that authorities believe Yazid did not act alone, that there are other people involved. And remember, she allegedly had left out that night to go meet somebody that she had met online. And so he went on to say that we do think there's a likelihood someone else is involved in the case, and we hope to bring that person to justice. And so a witness outside of the Alabama convenience store said that he saw the man arrested in the disappearance of Aniah Blanchard force the 19-year-old stepdaughter forced the 19-year-old into her own car and kidnap her. And so I'm sitting there like, okay, so you saw this girl being forced into the car. You didn't call 911. It took like the news hitting the media that she was missing for you to say, oh, dang, that was that girl that I saw being forced into the car. Like, I mean, when you see something like that happening, do you think it's just a lover's quarrel? What do you do? Like, would you have tried to intervene? Would you have called the police? Would you have, like, I don't know. I just would like to think if I saw somebody being forced into a car, if I didn't see a gun, I probably would be like, hey, like yell out, hey, what are you doing? But I definitely would have taken down the tag number description of the car and called police and say, I think this person was just kidnapped at the corner store. So Abraham Yazid was arrested Thursday in Escambia County, Florida, and made an initial court appearance Friday evening. He waived extradition and is expected to be brought back to Auburn, Alabama immediately. Surveillance footage from inside the convenience store in Auburn showed both Yazid and Blanchard inside at the same time on October 23rd, and that was the last time that she was seen. And then they say that kidnapping in the first degree, because I was wondering, like, they got degrees to kidnapping, but kidnapping in the first degree means that you kidnap the person with the intent of doing physical harm to that person. And this is not the first time that Yazid has been arrested or charged with kidnapping. In January 2019, he was arrested in Montgomery for kidnapping William Joseph Fuller III. According to a complaint, Yazid and 3 other people kidnapped Fuller on January 29th and held him against his will and beat him until he was unconscious and severely injured. He was out on a $60,000 bond at the time of his arrest, and then the judge revoked that bond, which gives them the right to go and to travel to Florida and pick him up and take him back to Alabama. Blanchard's father, his name is Elijah Blanchard. He was like, this is the type of guy that she came in contact with. It's just kind of scary. This young man is really a lethal young man. He's gutless. He's ruthless. He just don't have a conscience at all, and he's proven that in the past. I remember I say he's been arrested multiple times. And then Blanchard's father goes on to say, I would do anything in the world to have you here with us right now. We're searching. We're going to cover all areas, all aspects to be able to find you. And it's got to be a parent's worst nightmare that something has happened to your child. You don't want to give up hope that they're still alive. And you're just thinking like you have to wonder when you're traveling down the street, like, are they in a ditch somewhere? Are they in an abandoned building, that we probably passed by numerous times? And I remember there was a story here where this guy had been missing for like 5 years. And then they were out down by the Everglades somewhere, like leaving out of Miami. And I believe construction or something might have been going on. And somebody uncovered a car in a tree. and they, went and got the car down, and evidently he had lost control of his car. The car went airborne and landed in this wooded area, stuck in a tree. And the body, of course, it had been 5 years since he had died, but, and the body was in there. And so I'm sure those parents were like, we've traveled along I-75 100 times in those 5 years, and to not know that, to look over there and see that that was your son's car, it's just really creepy and scary. And it's just, I don't think I could sleep at night knowing that, my child is out there somewhere. And, even though they're saying it was a considerable amount of blood, you still kind of want to have hope that she's still alive, that if they can just get to her immediately, that they may be able to save her. And so, once again, I hope this person just comes clean and just admit what they've done. Tell these poor people where their daughter is located, so that they can get to her and they can get closure, regardless of what that closure may be. Oh, and then I'm starting to tell you guys about the Natalie Holloway woman. So Beth Holloway, who's the mother of Natalie Holloway, teamed up with Texas EquuSearch on Saturday, according to a Facebook post by the nonprofit group. Founder Tim Miller, whose daughter was also abducted and murdered in North Galveston County, Texas in 1984 and not found until 2 years later. He also assisted the Beth Holloway in her search for her daughter Natalie. And so the nonprofit group EquuSearch from Texas this week joined the search for Blanchard. Miller's team of volunteers have been involved in more than 1,800 searches in 42 states, as well as multiple other countries. Miller says that EquuSearch is responsible for recovering the remains of hundreds of people. The group assisted in the high-profile search for Natalie Holloway, who vanished while on a graduation trip in Aruba. Though declared legally dead, her remains have never been found. Blanchard's mother, Angela Haley Harris, and her stepfather, Walt Harris, spoke to ABC News last week after meeting with Beth Holloway for the first time. And she said that, I followed Natalie's case and I've always admired her for her strength. Just thought she was an amazing lady. She's an amazing woman, and I think she's going to be a great support to us. So that's the latest on the Aniah Blanchard case. Like I said, if the guy would just come clean, like have a heart, find wherever your heart is buried at, because obviously you have some detachment issues from reality. But just tell these people where their daughter is. I'm sure your DNA was all over her car. We have a witness that says he saw you forcing her in the car. So just go ahead and tell the truth and give these people the answers that they need so that they can find their daughter. So guys, that's it for me with the Aniah Blanchard update. If I hear anything else, of course, I will come back. Please go check out the update of Alexis Crawford, as well as the update on Taylor Williams. So leave your comments below, rate the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.